You're listening to A Tiny Homestead, the podcast comprised entirely of conversations with homesteaders, cottage food producers, and crafters. I'm your host, Mary Lewis. At Greenbush Twins and Company, we believe in the power of creativity, imagination, and art to bring people together. Our mission is to inspire connection across all ages, encouraging understanding, individuality, and a true sense of belonging. We're building more than a brand. We're growing a mindful community rooted in kindness, intention, and shared purpose. At our core, it's about real people sharing real stories, ideas, and products that make everyday life more meaningful. If you believe in living with purpose and supporting brands that care, you'll feel right at home with Greenbush Twins. A Tiny Homestead podcast is sponsored by Greenbush Twins and Company. Today I'm talking with Casey at Forsythia Farms in New Jersey. Good morning, Casey. How are you?
Good morning. I am well. How are you?
I'm good. You said it's a beautiful day there in New Jersey?
It is. It's nice and sunny, and it's going to be almost 70, I think, today. It rained all weekend, so we're due for some sunshine.
Well, congratulations on having a great spring day, because I am in Minnesota and I can hear the rain falling on our tin roof outside my bedroom window.
Oh my goodness.
And it's supposed to rain all day, and I think we're supposed to get thunderstorms too. So we are getting what my grandpa would have called poor man's fertilizer for our garden.
Oh my goodness. You guys get some heavy storms out that way, don't you?
We get... I have never experienced nor seen a tornado in the over 30 years I've lived in Minnesota.
Well, that's good.
But we definitely get some high winds. We have had our power go out because of lightning strikes, stuff like that. So minor things, like I'm scared to death of tornadoes. Like I don't ever want to see one, and I sure as heck don't want to have one come through my dooryard. I would pass on that.
Yeah, I understand.
But no, the weather has been unseasonably warm this spring. Our lilac bushes are leafed out. Our maple tree is leafed out. Everything is leafed out. I could do a list. It would take 10 minutes, but it's very exciting because we're ready. We're ready for this long, long winter to be over.
It has been such a long winter. I know we started getting some good, like, sprouts and whatnot, but I know some farms around here are actually dealing with issues because it froze again.
Mhm.
We were under a freeze warning last week, so I know there's some like fruit farmers that are concerned because it, usually doesn't typically freeze as bad at this point in April.
Yeah.
So some are seeing some detrimental like loss with some of their plants, which is really upsetting.
We're supposed to have freezing temps tomorrow night, I think, and tomorrow night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, maybe. And I am so thankful that our apple trees are leafed out, but they're not budded out yet. They're not blooming.
Okay.
Because I really want apples, and if it freezes, there will be no apples this fall for us on our property. So
Yeah. We have an apple tree and a peach tree, but I'm not expecting fruit from them for like another couple years because we just planted them. So
yeah, anywhere from 3 to 5 years, depending on what the variety is.
yeah, Honeycrisp. I don't
Oh,
remember what
nice.
peach variety it is, but
We have honey crisps, there we go,
Mhm.
that we put in, I think, 2 or 3 falls ago, and,
Okay.
we're hoping with everything we have that they actually bloom this year and that we might get 1 or 2, because they take a
Yeah.
while, and they were baby trees, so we'll see what happens. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at Forsythia Farms.
So we are first generation homesteaders or farmers, whichever term you prefer to use. We are more on the animal side. I will say I don't have much of a green thumb. Um, I can do like we have our fruit trees, we have some berry bushes. But as far as like plants, I'm really bad with with the gardening aspect. My husband is actually better with that. I am the animal person. So we have a lot of chickens, we have some turkeys, we have goats and a pony and horses. And obviously, I have cats and dogs as well. I am a certified veterinary technician by trade, so to say. Um, so I've always been around animals and always wanted to have animals. I think I've wanted chickens my entire life. um, so we moved to New Jersey in 2023 because we are actually originally from Pennsylvania. And we moved to southern New Jersey to have some more land so we could start on our little farm that we have always dreamed of. And it has grown. It definitely has grown. Chicken math is real.
It sure is.
We started with four in 2022, and now we have over 100 and turkeys. So it's they're definitely the gateway to the rest of the animals.
Chicken math got you real good.
It did. It did. It went from chickens to goats, and then to turkeys, and then to horses. And if we had enough land, we would probably have a cow, but
Mhm.
we don't.
I wish we had a cow. I wish we had enough land for a cow. And we do not. We have 3 acres and there's no grazing area for an animal that big. So we are just not going to do a cow. It's not happening.
Yeah, we have about 3 acres as well, and my we have grazing areas on some parts of our land, but a lot of it is wooded and trails. But our neighbors have big like yards and stuff, and the my horse Chai, she'll go over and mow their lawn, is what they say. But the mini that I have can't have fresh grass.
Mhm.
So they're mostly on a dry lot, which is one of the reasons why I brought them here as opposed to boarding them, because he can't really have grass to begin with. So us not having a ton of grazing isn't a huge deal for the two of them, but definitely not enough for a cow.
Yeah. Yeah, they eat a lot. And
They do.
the other thing that I hadn't really considered until I was listening to you talk is even if we had a cow, we would have to have her bred to keep her in milk because
Right.
if you don't have a calf to get things started, it's not gonna work.
Right.
And the other thing is that a full size cow gives a lot of milk,
They
and
do.
we don't have anywhere to keep that right now.
Right. That's exactly it. We've run into that problem a couple times with the chickens. We just
Mm.
had, like in the spring and summer, so many eggs.
So many eggs. Yes, yes. I think at the highest number we had 36 or 40 chickens. And we have a farm stand on our property, and we would sell the eggs, and we were still overrun with eggs with that many chickens. So we're down to a very reasonable 14 chickens.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
We free range. Um, and unfortunately, the circle of life, there are predators here. So we do lose a few,
Mhm.
especially during this time. We're mostly ground predators are our issue, foxes to be exact. We do have some hawks, but foxes tend to be our big issue. So around this time, I don't love to let them free range.
Yes.
But it's part of the reason why I like to have a lot, because if we do lose some, now we have established a clientele that like order eggs from us. And some people get upwards of like 10 dozen at a time.
Wow.
So I like to keep a certain number just so we can keep up with demand now. But in the winter, I at least have enough to fill that demand. Whereas my older ladies might stop laying, I always have younger ladies that are still going.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Thank God for the younger ladies and the older ladies.
yeah. And when I let them live out their days, however long, I still have a couple of my originals from 2022, and I do breed for like olive eggers. So I have some of those, or I have silkies,
Mhm.
and bless their hearts, they are just not smart. I love them, but they are just not the smartest, and they can't see because of their little head puff. So they don't free range, and I have them in a separate coop.
Yes, the dumb as a stump chicken variety.
Yeah. Yes, and the Polish, I have those as well.
Mhm.
It's just you got to collect them all. They're like Pokemon.
Or Lay's potato chips.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, what is the nearest city in New Jersey to where you live?
The largest city would be Philadelphia.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah, and we moved from the suburbs of Philadelphia to New Jersey. Because the biggest city in Jersey closest to me would probably be like Trenton, but
Okay.
even still that's further than Philly is to us. We're about 20 to 30 minutes depending on traffic from Philly.
So not too bad.
Mm-mm.
Good.
No. Yeah, we're in a good spot. We're not too far from family. Everyone's still over in Pennsylvania, but we're also in an area where it's like, I think when my family helped us move here, my uncle had made a comment like, I feel like I'm in Alabama because it's just all farmland. This doesn't even feel like the Northeast. It feels like the South.
Yes, and I was actually really surprised when you said New Jersey because I didn't think there was a whole lot of acreage available in New Jersey, and maybe there
Yeah,
isn't. Maybe you lucked out.
there is. There is. There's a lot of actually preserved farmland down here.
Mm,
Um, and it is the garden state, for a reason. They do produce a lot of goods, and it's amazing. There's a preserved farm. I'm not sure exactly how large it is, but I want to say it's at least over 100 acres right around the corner from us. Um, and they switched from doing, I think, hay and corn, but there is a lot of farmland down here. Now, when you go further north, that's when you get to more like the city life, especially with Jersey City, because it's
mm.
right near New York City. But it's like night and day from North Jersey to South Jersey.
I feel like I should do some research on New Jersey, mostly because I was born there, but when I was 6 months old, my parents moved to Maine with me.
Oh, okay.
So they never really talked about it because they weren't there very long.
Yeah. I've always wanted to visit Maine. I've never been.
Go while you can because it's really, really beautiful.
That's what I hear.
And we would be living there right now, except that the cost of living is so expensive in the state of Maine that
Yeah.
we just couldn't do it. Buying property and a house on that property would have been fine because it was fairly reasonable back in 2020 when we were looking. But when I talked to my folks who still live there about the cost of actually living there, and they told me what they knew, I was like, no, we're staying in Minnesota.
Yeah. New Jersey is very expensive. We have very high property taxes, and it is an expensive state, but I will say it was cheaper to move here and get the land that we wanted than it was to stay in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yep.
And if we were to stay in Pennsylvania for what we wanted, we would probably be about 45 minutes to an hour away from family, whereas where we're at now, we're very close. So,
So you made it work for you in the way that worked best, and that's amazing.
yeah.
The thing that we lucked out on is we started looking in, I think, end of May, 1st of June back in 2020,
Okay.
before everything jumped in price.
Yeah.
So we were really glad that we did it then because if we'd waited even 6 months, there's no way we would be where we are now.
Yeah. And did you go to Minnesota for job opportunities or?
No, I moved to Minnesota over 30 years ago with my first husband, who is my first ex husband. And then I married again and got a second ex husband. And the third one is the charm. So
Oh,
we decided that we wanted to move out of in town, little tiny town in Minnesota, like 6,000 people, I think.
oh,
We wanted to get away from town, and we moved half an hour away from there, and we live in the middle of corn and soybean fields, and it's glorious.
there you go. That sounds amazing.
It really is, and I've talked about it ad nauseum on this podcast, so I'm quite sure that none of the listeners want to hear it again. But just let's suffice it to say it was the best decision we've made in the whole time we've known each other. So
Yeah, it sounds amazing. We love it here. And it's definitely a different lifestyle. Like when our friends and family come to visit, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's definitely different because there's farmland." And when we first moved, I think every week there was a new Facebook post about like somebody's animal got out. So there was an emu that was running around town,
mhm.
and then someone's bull got out,
Oh, no.
someone's horse. So it was like just the funny little things that you see in farm towns that like you obviously wouldn't expect when you were living in the suburbs of a major city. So we love it. It's so peaceful. We're on a very, very quiet street. The only cars on this street are the people that live here.
I am
So
not. I am not on a quiet street. We are on a two-lane highway that goes between two towns, and, there's a lot of semis and tractors and stuff that go through because it's farm country.
yeah,
They're moving tractors, they're moving equipment for farming in the spring, and in the fall, it's constant semis going through with loaded down with corn and soybeans.
yeah, we have in town, which we're about 10-minute drive from in town. And they have a lot of trucks that go through there, delivering from South Jersey all the way through to Philly or where have you. So when we go in town, there's definitely a lot more traffic. But when we come out of our little neighborhood, we mostly get stuck behind the tractors that are like doing the crop fields or moving the crop itself. And it's so funny because every time I drive by, I always want to blast International Harvester
Uh-huh.
on, and I love it. It's just such a great little community that we're in.
In the 5 years that a little over 5 years that we've been here, we've had friends come to visit, and I think 3 times in that 5 years, somebody has said, "Totally forgot we get stuck behind some kind of farm equipment. Sorry, we're late." I'm like, "I knew you'd be late. It's totally fine. I don't care if you're late. You're here. Yay, I'm glad to see you."
Right.
Um, so you sell your eggs, and
hmm
you said that you have goats still?
We do. We have goats. And we had tried to breed them because we had gotten a buck, but it did not go well. So I would love to breed my does. I have three of them. They are called the Powerpuff Goats. It's Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup.
Of course it is. Good.
And they're adorable. They're Nigerian dwarves. They're like dogs. My husband's favorite animal on the farm. I think that's the only animal I could come home with without asking that he would be totally fine with. Um, because I want to do their milk, so I would love to do like goat milk soaps and body washes, lotions. My dad has really severe like allergies, and his skin flares up a lot. And I would love to be able to make something natural for him because he can't have or can't use a lot of the products that are on the shelves these days. So I would love to make something that he would be able to use to kind of soothe his skin when he's having a flare up. Um, and I know it's really good for, oddly enough, we have a lot of people in the area that are asking for goat's milk for their dogs.
Okay.
So, and there's not many around here. There's not a lot of people that sell goat's milk. So that's definitely something I would love to do. But I have to rent out a buck because our boys are now weathered.
Mhm.
So we'll see how that goes. I kind of want to breed them to a feigning goat.
That'd be fun.
I know, but I think I'll just do stick with the Nigerian dwarfs because their temperament is amazing.
They're
Um,
like little puppy dogs.
they are. And our first boy, Rocky, he was a bottle baby, so he was in the house until he was about 10 weeks old, and we got him when he was 8 weeks old,
Mhm.
and we were still bottle feeding him. So he is a legitimate dog. Like he just would prefer to be in the house, but I can't do that at this point.
Not without a diaper.
Mm-mm, and he won't keep it on, or he'll eat it. He's not
Yeah.
love him to death, but he's also not the smartest either.
Well, he's a goat, he's not a human kid, so
I
we'll
know.
grant him a little bit of grace. Um, why do people want goat's milk for dogs? I thought most dairy wasn't good for dogs.
So goat's milk, actually, like some of the proteins in there can be beneficial. I wouldn't give it to my dog like every day.
Yeah.
But it can help with their coat, just like it can help like soothing our skin and things of that nature. Some allergy dogs can benefit from goat's milk. There's specifically a woman here who breeds Oh, and I should know the actual name of these dogs because I'm a tech, but they're essentially like long-haired greyhounds. They're
Okay.
not, but they're not whippets. I can't think of the
They're
name.
tall, right?
Yes,
Ah,
I can't think
I
of the
I
name,
can see it in my head. I can see the animal, but I can't think of the name either.
but she uses it for her dogs.
Uh-huh.
And some people also bathe their animals in it if they're having like a skin flare up.
That's an expensive bath, but I bet it does the job.
Yeah, they might be. Are they Afghans?
Yes, that's what I was thinking too, but I couldn't think of the name. Yes.
Yeah, they're not Borzois. I know that. They might be Afghans.
Yep.
But she specifically asked me when she found out I had goats, and I was like, no. But if I do, I will definitely let you know.
Mhm. For sure. Um, so do you love your life at the farm? Are you happy that you did this?
Yes, absolutely. I would do it 10 times over. It's just so amazing to just wake up in the morning and look out in my backyard and see just these chickens running around and you hear the goats. My children love it. They love being able to go out in the backyard and collect eggs. They love having their little pony chocolate that they can take care of. And my youngest is a huge animal. My oldest likes animals, but my youngest is our animal girl, and they're just like living the dream, and that's what my husband and I wanted for them. So it's amazing, and nothing beats fresh eggs in the morning, in my opinion.
Nothing beats fresh eggs at any hour of the day as far as I'm concerned.
That is true. You are correct.
I make an egg bake once in a while in the wintertime, and
Ooh.
we don't have it for breakfast. We have it for dinner.
Hey, breakfast for dinner is was one of my favorite things growing up.
Yeah, I make a great big casserole pan, and here it's
Oh,
called a hot dish. It's not a casserole. So here it would be a hot dish pan, glass pan. I make a big one, and we freeze half of it, and that way we have some for breakfast if we want it.
that sounds amazing.
Because freeze is great.
Yeah, yeah. I've always wanted to try either freezing or also doing the glass. Oh, goodness. I can't think of the name of anything. Where
The
people
egg,
store
the eggs in
in
the big glass jar with the water.
with the lime. Yeah.
Yep,
Water glassing maybe is what it's called. I have never done it.
it's a way of
But
preserving eggs without having to pickle them. Yes.
yeah, I will say because I'm not a big pickler.
Yep.
So I know some people love it. I used to sell my silky eggs to a friend who would just pickle them because they're
Yeah.
tiny.
I don't like pickled eggs. I like hard-boiled eggs for egg salad sandwiches, but I'm not a pickled egg girl. I think they're stinky.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't do it. I love pickles. I love cucumbers as pickles, but pickled eggs are just not my jam.
Yeah, I feel that.
Mhm. I don't know what it is, but I just if I smell them, I'm like, I need to walk the other way because it's gonna be a mess if I do not.
I agree. Eggs are great, but they can be very stinky in certain ways.
Yep, not a fan. Um, so I saw on your Facebook page something about your turkey.
Yes.
What can you tell the story without crying?
I think I can.
Okay.
So I had a Tom. His name was Daryl. Um, and I actually got his name because everyone asked me, how did you come up with the name Daryl? And my daughters are 6 and 4, and they were big Bluey fans. I don't know if you're familiar with any kids' TV shows.
I've heard of it. I have not ever seen an episode.
Okay, it's an amazing kid show, I'll be honest. Like it's actually a kid show that was made for parents. But either way, they have funny names for their animals or their imaginary friends or whatever they're doing. And one of them, the one daughter was pretending to be someone, and her name was Charolanda.
Okay.
So we got 3 turkeys in the early spring last year, and at the time I didn't know what they were, male or female, but we went with Telemachus, Shubidua, and Charolanda, all names from Bluey.
Cute.
Well, Charolanda turned out to be a dude. So I was like, Charolanda, Daryl, Darylanda. And then it kind of just stuck.
So is Daryl.
So it was Daryl, yes. And he was I believe he was a bronze. I got kind of like a mixed group of breeds. And he was also like a dog. I had to harness train him because my youngest wanted me to bring him to school for her
Okay.
bringing your pet to school day. Out of all the animals that we have, she chose him. So I harness trained this 30, 40 pound turkey. He went on car rides with us. We don't have like local trash here. We have to go to a dump. So
Yeah.
he would go to the dump with us and just ride around in the car. I took him through Duncan. And he
Did
was a
they
big part.
did Duncan give him a pup cup?
They did. They did. He got a pup cup, and he was just a great pet. And he was a very good protector. I will say turkeys are very good protectors of our flock. They're very good at alerting, and they're big, so not a ton of the predators in our area wouldn't be worth it to them to try to come like to our flock. Um and unfortunately, it is mating season, and we had two of our neighbors' children run onto our property. I'm assuming to see if our children were outside so they could play.
Yeah.
And the youngest is about 18 months, so she's little. And they ran up to Daryl. I don't know in what manner because I didn't see it, but they ran up to him and he started like jumping on the youngest and I guess trying to mate. So he was doing the like stomping with his feet and he was scratching her up. And in the whole commotion to get Daryl off of the child, he was kicked not only by the child but by an adult
Mm.
to get him off of the baby. And that whole commotion, he broke his leg.
Oh.
And he was very large. Poultry have very thin, tiny legs. And he was in a lot of pain. So I didn't want to put him through trying to fix it because the prognosis of him getting fully healed was slim to none.
Sure.
And it wouldn't be fair to him for me to put him through all of that pain and recovery just because for selfish reasons I didn't want to lose him, you know?
Yeah.
So we humanely culled him, and we did bury him next to his favorite tree. But it's quiet without him because
Yeah.
he would always like talk to us. We would call his name and he would talk to us. And he wasn't doing anything wrong. He was, protecting his flock. But it's definitely a good lesson with, being cautious around animals and making sure, no one's unattended or anything like that. Our kids knew, like, if they were going to be around Daryl, they always had a stick and they would just wave it at him and he would run. He wasn't going to come after them. He's like, okay, these kids have a stick. I'm not going to mess with them.
Mm.
And he grew up with them, so he was familiar with them. But yeah, that day was very stressful because we had also brought a Mustang home that day.
Oh,
Um,
so double whammy.
yeah, and he broke through our fence a couple times. Uh, so we were actually dealing with the Mustang when the incident happened. It was
Mhm.
just very crazy, but
Sounds like it.
it is. And you learn some hard lessons in life. You go back and think of everything you could have done differently at that time, but in that moment, the main goal was to make sure the child was okay, you know?
Yeah.
And I love my animals. I love them to death, but I will always put a human child's well-being above my animals.
Yep. And I feel like this is a good place to jump in and say if you are a neighbor of someone who has animals on their property, and I don't care whether it's turkeys or goats or a freaking elephant, and you have kids, tell your kids that they need to be aware and they need to be careful. And if they're too little to understand that, then you should probably be with them if they're going to the neighbor's house.
Yeah.
And I don't want to I don't want to direct other people's traffic, but it's a shame that you had to lose your turkey because of the situation.
It is. And my husband and I were, we went through the motions of the stages of grief, and we were angry for a while. And it's not that we were angry at them.
No.
We were just angry at the situation because we know it, it was just a unfortunate incident, but it's like, we lost a member of our family. So it was just really, really unfortunate.
Yeah,
And
it's really hard. One of the things about farming or homesteading is that there are days that just suck lemons, and you're going to have one.
mhm, it is. And I think the hardest thing about having a like farm and having livestock is that there's a saying for a reason. If you have livestock, you have dead stock,
Mhm.
because a lot of the times, at least in my experience with chickens, sometimes they just keel over and you have no idea why. And if you're like me and you get attached to them, it everyone takes a small little piece of your heart. And it's like, ugh, I wish I could have done something different. But it's just the hard reality of having animals.
I may be the most unattached to my chickens person you will ever meet. I don't love them. I love what they do for us. I don't love chickens. However, I keep trying to not get attached to the barn cats, and
uh,
that's a trick.
yeah, we have one barn cat. We just got him recently. He showed up at my in-laws' house actually, and he was super sweet. And we're like, you know what? We need a barn cat because we do have a lot of mice because we are in the
Mhm.
woods.
Yes.
Like we're in farmland, but where we are specifically is a lot of woods and trails. And he is just the sweetest thing. He loves to just be pet and loved on. And I would be devastated if something happened to him.
I was devastated when the first barn cat got hit by a car on that busy road in
Oh,
front of our house. Like, I swore a blue streak, I cried, I slammed cabinet doors, I was upset.
yeah.
And my husband said to me, he said, "Honey," he said, "if this is how it's going to affect you if we lose an animal," he said, "we can't stay here." He said, "This is awful." And the next one that got hit, like 4 months later, I swore less. I did not cry, and I think I slammed a cabinet door when I realized that it had gotten hit. He said, "That's growth." I'm like, "Yes, I will eventually be able to handle this, but that's 2 in 4 months' time."
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot. And it's different when you have like outdoor animals as opposed to indoor animals. Like you try not to get attached, but you do, but then you also know that they're here for a job,
Mhm.
and sometimes bad things do happen. I mean, that can be said about any part of life. And I'm not unfamiliar with death and animals because I have dealt with my fair share of, euthanasias and really unfortunate, sad situations just working in the veterinary field.
Yes.
But it's always different when it is something that you have personally cared for. And the advice that I try to give people, even whether it be a cat or a dog or a horse or what have you, is the best thing that we can do for them is to end their suffering, is to not let them suffer. So if something is happening and you have the choice to take away their pain, then that is the kindest thing that we can do for them. And that is why I didn't rehab Daryl,
Yep.
because it just wouldn't have been kind for me to do that. And I don't think if he could talk that he would want me to do that.
Probably not. And that's why it's called stewardship. Whether it's land or animals, it's stewardship.
Yeah.
All right. Casey, this was a joy. I try to keep these to half an hour. Where can people find you?
You can find me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Um, Forsythia Farms is our Facebook profile, but Casey at Forsythia Farms is my Instagram and TikTok handle.
Okay.
So you can find me there. And I just, have my daily antics of farm life on there.
It's very fun to watch you do your thing.
It's it's a huge part of my life now. I don't think my day is complete until I have done my like morning chores and, you know, sang my songs to my animals because I do that a lot.
Yep. Yep. Well, keep doing the good work because every video you put out shows people what this is like, that it can be hard, that it can be absolutely joy-filled days, because that happens too.
hmm
But we need more people to get into this because we need local food sources.
Yes, we do. It's incredibly important.
All right. As always, people can find me at atinyhomesteadpodcast.com. Casey, I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. I hope you have a wonderful day as well.
All right. Bye.